All Hoops Podcast.
Okay, so everyone wants to know, right? Can BYU actually be competitive in the Big 12?
Yeah, right. It's a big step up in competition.
Huge. And, their first game against Arizona State kind of sent a message.
Ooh, for sure.
I mean, we dove into this KSL article and wow.
What jumped out at you?
It's Richie Saunders.
Yeah, he had a heck of a game.
30 points.
I know, it's crazy.
Career high for him. And 6 3-pointers. I knew he was good, but
Next level stuff, right?
this was something else.
It's worth noting, though, that Arizona State's perimeter defense has been shaky all season.
So maybe.
So, yeah, while it was an amazing performance,
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting to see how he does against, a Texas next week.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
You know, a team that's known for their defense.
For sure. I mean, but still, I was really surprised by his range.
Yeah.
He hasn't exactly been known for his three-point shooting in the past.
Right, and that's what makes this performance so intriguing. Did he just have a hot night?
Right.
Or did he, add this whole other dimension to his game in the offseason? Something we need to watch for in these next few games.
Totally. Yeah. The article actually called him Richie One Speed.
I love that.
Me too. It's catchy, but it also sounds like he was scoring in a lot of different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If he really has expanded his game offensively, that's huge for BYU.
Yeah.
Because then they're way harder to defend.
Yeah.
And you also got to remember, he was coming off a concussion.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Missed the last 2 games.
Wow. So to come back
Says a lot about his mental toughness.
Right.
You know? Talent is one thing.
Uh-huh.
But to shake off an injury and then deliver a performance like that under pressure,
Yeah. Right.
that's something else.
Yeah, totally. And it wasn't all Richie Saunders either.
Right.
They were working the ball inside.
Yeah.
Getting shots in the paint and then kicking it out for those open looks. And their coach talked about that as part of their game plan, so.
Seems like it worked.
Yeah.
Especially against Arizona State. I mean, they tend to overcommit on defense, which leaves shooters open on the perimeter.
So BYU is...
Because BYU totally exploited that.
Yeah, it sounds like a mix of Saunders having an amazing night. Any of the team executing their game plan well.
For sure.
And they played with a lot of intensity, too.
Yeah, you could see that grit, especially on defense.
Uh-huh.
BYU totally shut down Arizona State's three-point game in the first half.
I mean, Arizona State lives and dies by the three.
Totally. They were averaging almost 40% from beyond the arc coming into the game.
And
BYU held them to just 6 3-pointers out of 29 attempts.
that's a huge difference.
Huge EE. Coach Pope clearly had a plan to shut down their star shooter.
Wow.
Forced him into taking tough contested shots.
Interesting. And there's this quote from Saunders in the article.
Yeah. What did he say?
He said that the refs don't really call much in the Big 12, so you've got to fight through.
Interesting. So it sounds like it's going to be a really physical conference.
Yeah, no kidding. This
Yeah.
isn't their old conference anymore.
Nope. This is a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
And BYU just passed their first test.
With flying colors.
For sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't just talk either.
Yeah.
They out-rebounded Arizona State 38-28.
Wow, yeah. I'm looking at the box score here, and they scored 19 points off of Arizona State's 13 turnovers.
Exactly. They weren't just waiting around for Saunders to do everything.
Right.
They were hustling, playing smart, disciplined basketball.
Which is what you need, I guess, against a team like Arizona State.
Well, yeah.
They can score in bunches.
Oh, for sure. If you let them get comfortable, forget about it.
Right. And we already talked about their three-point defense.
Yeah, they shut them down.
Held Arizona State way below their average.
Right.
Do you think that was more about BYU's defense, or was Arizona State just having a bad night?
Probably a bit of both, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you got to give BYU credit for their preparation.
Yeah.
They knew what Arizona State was good at, and they shut it down.
It's interesting. You've got Saunders' incredible performance, the team effort, the coaching, and the fact that this was their very first Big 12 game.
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Huge win, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, starting their Big 12 journey with a win like this against a team like Arizona State, that's a statement.
What kind of statement do you think it sends to the rest of the conference?
It says they're not intimidated. They're here to compete.
Yeah.
And they've got the talent and the coaching to make some noise.
A 20-point win in your conference opener, you can't really ask for much more.
Right. I mean, it's a great start. But, the Big 12 is a marathon, not a sprint.
True.
The real test is consistency.
Yeah, can they keep this up?
Exactly. Can they maintain this level of play against the best teams in the conference? That's the question.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
This KSL article is obviously focused on Saunders, and he deserves the attention.
Oh,
but
sure. He was the star of the show.
But the rest of the team,
Yeah.
they contributed too.
Absolutely. We got to give some love to the supporting cast. Cannon Catchings with 11 points.
Right.
Igor DeBen coming back from injury with 4 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah.
Those are big contributions.
Yeah, and Kibakita almost had a double-double.
Right.
9 points, 10 rebounds. Plus, you've got Dawson Baker coming off the bench with 9 points and 5 assists.
That kind of depth is huge.
Especially in a conference like the Big 12.
Yeah, you're going to need all hands on deck to survive that.
For sure. Okay, so we've covered Saunders' performance, the team effort, the significance of this win for BYU's Big 12 debut.
Yeah.
What else stands out to you from this article?
I think Saunders' comment about the officiating in the Big 12 is worth another look.
Oh, yeah? What about it?
The refs don't really call much, so you've got to fight through.
Right.
That's a telling statement.
It really is. What do you think it means?
I think it suggests a certain style of play, a more physical, let-them-play attitude
Okay.
that maybe they weren't used to in their old conference.
Yeah, and it really highlights the need for mental toughness.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about skill. It's about being able to handle that physicality,
Right.
that pressure.
And it seems like they did in this game.
They rose to the occasion.
Yeah,
This win wasn't just about talent. It was about resilience.
I like that.
Yeah.
So all in all, a pretty successful Big 12 debut for BYU.
I'd say more than successful. They made a statement.
Okay, so we've really broken down this win from Richie Saunders having like a career night to the team's toughness, the coaching, what it all means for BYU in the Big 12.
Yeah, it's been a great deep dive.
And we saw how all those pieces fit together for that pretty dominant 20-point win over a solid Arizona State team.
Absolutely.
But the big question now, what happens next?
Right.
What does this tell us about BYU going forward?
Well, you can't underestimate the confidence boost from a win like this. It's one thing to believe you belong in a conference like the Big 12. It's another thing to actually go out and prove it.
Especially in your first game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in your first game.
Yeah.
And for Saunders specifically, coming off that injury and then having this kind of breakout performance, that's momentum you can build on.
Yeah, it's almost like it resets the narrative, right?
It does.
He's not just the guy coming back from a concussion anymore.
Right.
He's the guy who just torched Arizona State in his Big 12 debut.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
question is, can he keep it up?
Yeah, was this a glimpse of his true potential, or was it just like a one-time thing fueled by adrenaline and a good matchup?
Right.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, the Big 12 schedule is brutal.
It's a gauntlet.
No nights off.
And think about the pressure he's facing now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's watching to see if he can do it again.
Exactly. Teams are going to be game planning specifically for him now.
Can he handle that?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
Can he adjust his game when teams try to take away his strengths?
It'll be fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the physicality. We talked about how much tougher the Big 12 is.
Right.
Can Saunders and the rest of the team withstand that beating over a whole season?
And it's not just about being tough. It's about being smart,
Yeah.
Avoiding foul trouble, staying disciplined, making good decisions when things get chaotic.
That's tough for any team, especially one that's adjusting to a whole new level of competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a test of their mental toughness just as much as their physical ability.
For sure.
But from what we saw in this first game, they seem ready for the challenge.
Yeah. They definitely didn't back down from the physicality.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They were battling for every loose ball, every rebound.
So while this win was obviously impressive,
Yeah.
it was just one game.
One game.
It's a great start, but it's just the beginning of what should be a really interesting journey.
Long season ahead.
We've got a whole season to see how this BYU team develops, how they adapt, how they respond to adversity.
And of course, whether Richie Saunders can live up to all the hype.
That's the question everyone's going to be asking, and that's what makes this season so exciting to watch.
We've got a potential star, a team with something to prove, and a conference full of landmines.
So there you have it. We took a deep dive into BYU's big win, explored all the key takeaways and what it all means for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we covered it all. Individual brilliance, team effort, coaching strategy, and the adjustments they'll need to make as they navigate the Big 12.
What stood out to you from this deep dive? What are you most curious to see as the season progresses? Let us know. And join us next time for another deep dive into a topic you want to explore.